Well, that's live stream. Why did you click?
Oh, because it's going to YouTube as well as Zoom. Some people don't have Zoom. I just had to click on OK. Just to get that screen out of there. We're not on mute. We can mute ourselves. Yeah. Ah, that's a few I like.
It's a bit more.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna change that for us.
I'm going to be in Newark.
Nice to meet you.
I'm going to be participating in the service next week.
All right.
Yeah. With you.
Yes.
Yes. So are you excited about tonight?
I am. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's the first time I've been here, so I'm gonna be proud and people to impress. So, fun.
Yeah. Well, you know, people, they always have trouble with new music, but hopefully they'll like it.
I mean, it's music that fits the theme of the service. That's what I tried to do.
Oh, what did you do for Juneteenth?
So our opening for Amida is a song called "Open My Eyes to Truth." It's the words are "Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely, open my lips to good ones, to pure words, open my heart." And so I feel like that fits perfectly.
It's beautiful. Well, looking forward. It should be fun. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Vivian Newmark on behalf of Congregation Beth Hayim. It's an honor to welcome you to our Juneteenth Shabbat service this evening as we Zoom from the sanctuary. I have some information to share. A reminder that you are part of our security team. Please keep your eyes open. In case of emergency, please be aware that there are exits in all directions out of the sanctuary, including a door on the bima, which lead to the library. If you wear a hearing aid with a T-coil setting, you may access our hearing booth using your program. We do have headphones for those without that program. Large print prayer books are available as well. They are located on the table at the entrance to the sanctuary. We want to create a sacred space that will inspire prayer. Please silence or turn off your phones at this time so that you will not be distracted. Also, we ask you to refrain from taking any photos or videos, as a complete recording of the service will be available on Beth Hayim's YouTube channel afterward. If you are on Zoom, please stay muted unless the clergy invite you to unmute and participate. We may be physically separated from one another, but we are one community in prayer and celebration. Where's Lexi? Oh, could you come up? As you prepare to ascend the Bima as Mitzvah, I want to take a few minutes to share with you what it means to me to be a Jewish adult. I remember when I moved to this area about 10, 11 years ago, and I went shopping for synagogues. And I went to many different synagogues and finally decided on Bethlehem, but why? Because of the welcome that I got here. I remembered the story of Abraham standing at the entrance of his tent just to greet strangers. He was there recovering from his bris, and he ran to make these strangers welcome, these visitors. And that's how Bethlehem has been to me, and I hope it is to you too. So that's one of our Jewish values, welcoming the stranger. Lexi, tomorrow morning you will lead us in worship and read from the Torah. Becoming a Bar Mitzvah is your first step towards Jewish adulthood. And we at Bethlehem want to recognize that by presenting you with these official Bethlehem name tags. Please wear them when you are in the building for prayer, for study, to celebrate or mourn, to work, to repair the world. All that happens here is important. And we are so excited to have you continue to play an active role in our community as you take your place in the long chain of tradition. Now we can move into the sacredness of Shabbat. Please join us in song and prayer.
Welcome to everyone who is with us tonight in person, and we're bursting at the seams in the sanctuary, but we're also grateful for our friends on Zoom and on YouTube. Tonight, I am excited to introduce you to David Mallinger. Once upon a time, David was my camper at Camp Harlem. His father, Rabbi Larry Mallinger, is my dear colleague in not too far Aberdeen, and David will be our song leader tonight and next Shabbat as well. You can expect several new tunes that David will teach us, so be on the lookout for those. This evening, I'm also delighted to welcome back to Beth Chaim members of Live Well Church, including their pastor, Khalil Carmichael, who will preach for us tonight in honor of Juneteenth that we commemorate this weekend. Juneteenth, or Freedom Day, gets its name from the date in 1865 when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to free the enslaved people there, more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Since George Floyd's murder in 2020, many of us, myself included, have learned about this holiday for the first time. Juneteenth is now a state and public holiday in New Jersey, as well as a national holiday. Because Juneteenth falls on the weekend this year, some businesses are giving their employees off either today or Monday. This Shabbat, we dedicate our worship to Juneteenth. The Racial Justice Task Force of Congregation Beth Chaim helped to shape this service, and you will hear the voices of several of its members throughout our service tonight. And now we turn to our Shabbat candles, ushering the day on the Jewish calendar dedicated to rest and reflection. So let us join in celebration and community as we honor the American holiday of Juneteenth. Lexi, come back up as I invite your family to come up as we turn to pages 2 and 3 in our prayer books, although all our liturgy will also be projected. Grandparents, you need to come up too. Grandparents have parts, come on up. I hope it's not a surprise, but I promise it's not hard. Smart. They're prepared.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives.
Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Lori and Steve, if you'll light the candles, we have an electric lighter or classic magic.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. We now ask all who are able to please rise as we turn to Kiddush. So, hold it up and
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'atzavanu, v'shabbat kodesh v'hagat u'ratzon v'yanu, zikron l'ma'aseh v're'echi, hivu yom tefilah v'nekrei kodesh, zaher l'tzayah Mitzrayim.
David, if you'll come on up. Yeah, you have a reading. Surprise. All right. Some folks are going to have to share, but let's take one. I guess we'll let Spencer take one.
Spencer, is that something? Great.
You don't have to. All right, I have one more here for you, and L'chaim, to life.
L'chaim.
All right.
There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do, excuse me, by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to continue the celebration throughout this Shabbat. Please join me in wishing Lexi and her family a mazel tov, and you're welcome to return.
Mazel
your
tov.
seats. Everyone is welcome to take a seat. Bye. See ya. So now that the Sabbath has officially begun, we turn to Lecha Dodi, a prayer maybe 400, 500 years old, that is an expression of our delight that our beloved Shabbat has finally arrived. We're going to sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. On that last verse, we're going to ask everyone to please rise and face the entrance as if we were at a wedding and the bride has just come in. But Shabbat is our beloved who defies boundaries and subscriptions of all kinds. So we'll sit for now, and hopefully you'll be able to follow on with us.
Adonai.
shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, utola, tomeuneh, am serula, moichala.
Shabbat Shalom. There are a lot of new faces in the house tonight. Meet somebody new. Shabbat Shalom, friends on Zoom and YouTube.
We used to do this and we stopped.
Oh no, we really like it. And also because we have so many guests tonight, it's for sure it's gotta happen. Do you need water? Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. I got more if you need it. All right, we're going to stay standing as we are able as we turn to Fatsi Kaddish. Page 26 if you're following in your prayer books.
Yikara vikara shmei rabba, yamad barach yotev ramich machute, bechayechonu v'yomechon uchay becho bet Yisrael, bakalav umizman kariv v'meru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach, Me'omaya, Yiparach, Yishtabach, Yitar Bipnon Vad Bitnase, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitala, Shemer Kudasha Priku, Leila Bicho Bechata Bashirata, Tush Bechata Benegemata. Darim al b'yamav b'meru amen. Adonai, Amevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai, 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 yai. Yai, 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 yai,
I now have the pleasure of inviting up to the bima Lori Watson, Richard Eland, and Ronnie Staffenberg as I ask everyone else to please be seated.
Nice to see all of you tonight. Okay, so this is, again, Against Tyranny by Alvin Sullivan. God of the oppressed, God of the subjugator and exploited. The voice of freedom echoes across the land, a hunger for liberation, an end to the reign of tyrants. Our brothers, beaten, and abused. Our sisters, dominated and forgotten, rise up to face the despot, risking life and limb in the name of the future with the dream of emancipation.
Source of mercy, rock of generations, you have led people to deliverance in every age. Bless those who struggle against cruelty and oppression. Grant them courage and fortitude, safety and strength. May their purpose remain righteous and their vision focused on peace. Bring to an end to the rule of dictators in every land. Release the hand of cruelty and evil.
Thwart the hand of brutality and slaughter. Grant a swift end to violence so that renewal and rebuilding can begin and hope renewed. Bless a new government with wisdom and compassion to give meaning to the uprising and suffering. Let honorable nations lend skill and resources to the leaders to emerge from this struggle. Blessed are you, God of all, who summons us to free the captive, pursue justice, and oppose the reign of tyrants.
I invite everyone who's able to please rise for Shema, our sacred text that speaks of the oneness of God and by the extension, the oneness of humanity.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'eleh asher Elohim mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Lishinantam levanecha v'divarta bam v'shivtecha v'beitecha u'leftecha b'derech u'shotbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam le'od ametecha v'hayu l'totachot b'einecha u'tavtam amdu suzot beitecha u'bisharecha למען תזכרו ותיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. I invite to the bema Sarah Abelson and Yvette Carmichael for another reading.
A quote from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. Justice is the cornerstone on which Judaism maintains its self-relevance. In that sense, Pharaoh is still alive. We are still in Egypt. When we hear and accept what we hear without meeting others, without asking how can it be, without looking for friends outside our circles, when we accept hatred for a group as a legitimate discourse, Pharaoh is alive and well inside ourselves.
I will be reading a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. My people were brought to America in chains. Your people were driven here to escape the chains fashioned for them in Europe. Our unity is born of our common struggle for centuries, not only to rid ourselves of bondage, but to make oppression of any people by others an impossibility.
Oh, mi hamocha, ba'elim Adonai. Oh, mi hamocha, be'arba chodesh. Oh, nora tehilot. Oh, sefer eleh. Oh, nora tehilot. Oh, sefer eleh. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption songs of freedom. Malchutecha, rabu vanecha, kulkeam, yifnu shel Miriam, De'elim, adu ve'ameru, Adonai Olam Va'ed. Won't you help to sing the songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption songs of freedom. Redemption song. Sometimes I lay under the moon, I thank God I'm breathing. As I pray, don't make me soon, as I am here for a reason, because sometimes the crashes I drown, but I never let it get me down. As temperatures around, I know someday it will all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we won't find no more, there'll be no more. Yeah, so just to pray one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Ashkimenu, Ashkimenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Lishalom, Hamideinu, Shoreinu, Lechaim, Ashkimenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Lishalom, Hamideinu. Shamru b'nei Israel, Shamru b'nei Israel, et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת, לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו. בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. שמרו בני ישראל, שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לבורתם ברית עולם ושמרו. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת וינפש, שמרו בני ישראל, שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לאור אותם ברית עולם ושמרו.
I invite to the Bima Hagit stand for a reading.
Half century ago, Rabbi Abram Joshua Heschel said, "For many of us, the march from Selma to Montgomery was about protest and prayer. Legs are not lips, and walking is not wings. And yet our legs uttered songs, even without words. Our march was worship. I felt my legs were praying." A century and a half ago, abolitionist Frederick Douglass said, "I prayed for freedom for 20 years, but received no answer until I prayed with my legs." So I now ask everyone who is able to rise up on their legs and join in both prayer and protest as one congregation.
So this is actually the one new song that I put in for tonight, and it is a song written by one Alan Goodis, who I hope many of you know, and it is a song called "Open My Eyes to Truth," or it's an intro to the Amidah. So I'm going to play it once through, and we're going to do a call and response. So this is what it sounds like.
Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely, open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love.
It starts with this.
Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely, open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love.
One more time.
Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely, open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart.
Watch.
Adonai Tzifatei Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Techilatecha. Open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart. Try that. Adonai Tzifatei Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Techilatecha. Open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love.
Baruch atah
Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Eloheinu Imotenu,
Elohei
Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim,
וקונן הכל, וזוכר
Ne'avoch b'mo,
ומביא
Ulav lifnei b'neim, Leman shmurei Yahva, Melech Gozer Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayel kol ha'kara v'Hoshia, Morir hatah. Mikael Chaim v'Chesed, Mikael Yaakov berachamim rabim, Somef rofim v'ofer kolim, Umatil rasurim, Ulechaye emunato lishenei afar, Michamalcha ba'al gvurot, Umidom elach, Melech mimi tumechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ha'lechayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, L'chayei hakol. Atah kadosh Shimcha kadosh, Ukadoshim b'kol yom yaluka selah. Baruch atah Adonai, L'chayei kadosh.
I invite everyone to take a seat except for Ellen Sherman and Ellen Meyer. Please come on up for another reading.
Disturb us, Adonai. Ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from stunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual.
Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusion of satisfaction and a world of war and hatred.
Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad, rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rhubarb of repic prayers of yesteryear.
Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality.
Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action.
And so we come to a moment in our service that many in our community look forward to, a moment to express gratitude for all kinds of blessings in our lives. We take this moment as a community to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, other milestones, a beautiful moment that took place this week or something that you've been reflecting on. So would anyone like to start? Something you'd like to share with our community, something for which you are grateful? All right. Hello, cousins from far away. Glad to have you join us tonight. All right, all right. Well, you come home. What a blessing. Go ahead, Jeremy. Oh boy.
Very grateful for very honest. There's so many things to be grateful for about that. So that's one, although there's many. Very grateful that some people very close to us from the house today are back here in New Jersey. Spent so many milestones with them. Very thankful to that happened. Very grateful for this beautiful service, the opportunities, the opportunities. Come together as a large community and celebrate so much.
All right. And if you didn't hear, bat mitzvah. Important people who are close now, and a really special chance to come together as a community in light of our calendar. So we're going to pause to say thank you. Modi manachnu lach, Modi manachnu lach. More blessings. Camille. a wonderful afternoon with your eldest daughter, who you have to share often. So it's nice to have that quality time. Yeah. Alana. You know what? Happy birthday to your grandson. No matter what, it sounds like he's getting ready to fly the coop, to fly the nest. Oh, father with his daughter. Wonderful. Let's pause to say thank you. Modi manachnu la. Modi manachnu la. Any other blessings you want to share? Yeah, maybe. It's not every day a big sib praises his younger sib in public. So we're
That is very
to
true.
hold on to it as the baby of 3, he can attest.
Very true.
Yeah. You're next on my list, dude. All right. Neil. An amazing milestone first step. Wonderful mazel tov. And batten down the hatches. Sarah. Oh. All right, so 2 happy occasions, a 2-year birthday, and an upcoming family wedding. Let's say thank you together. Modi manachnu la. Modi manachnu la.
I have 2. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you, and thank you to everyone who's allowed me to come here and work with you guys for the 2 services. First of all, it's an applause already. And 2, my sister has been engaged now for almost a year and will be getting married next year, around August, actually. So I'm very excited.
Oh, mazel tov. I didn't know about that. Yeah. Camille, you have another one? Nice. All right, we're thankful for David, we're thankful for our guest, and Anne, what other blessings do we have on the internet? All right, wow. Birthday for a grandson. All right. And is there another hand? Oh, thank you so much. And then I'll come back over there. Yeah. That's right.
There we go.
Promotions, well deserved. Yes, please. Oh, so grateful to have you. So grateful to have you. All right, one final thank you. Modi manachnu la. Modi manachnu la. Now we turn to our song for peace, and on Shabbat, we don't ask for a little peace, we ask for a lot of peace, because that is what this world very much needs right now.
Shalom Rav, Am Yisrael Amcha, Tasib Leolam. Shalom Rav, Am Yisrael Amcha, Tasib Leolam. Ki ata Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha,
take a few moments for silent prayer as we reflect on the quotation on the screen. There's this tension between using our voices and sitting in silence. Both are important, but how we use them, we need to be judicious. So we'll come back together in just a few moments.
Oh, say shalom. Roma. Uya say shalom. Aleinu. Ve'akol Yisrael. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Oh, say shalom.
Our thoughts now turn to all those in our lives in need of healing, and many names of loved ones appear on our screen tonight. We want to send out our prayers as one community to those in need of healing of the body, healing of the mind, healing of the heart, and healing of the soul. If you would like to mention anyone that you know in need of healing, I invite you to share those names now. For all those and many more, we join together in this Mishaberach of prayer.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
It is now my honor and pleasure to invite my colleague, the Reverend Khalil Carmichael, up to the podium to teach us this evening. Reverend Carmichael is a spiritual leader who believes people can live whole, live well, and live free through an authentic relationship with God. Founder and senior pastor of Live Well Church, located in beautiful neighboring Windsor, some of us know it as Robbinsville, New Jersey. Reverend Carmichael has made a decision to serve others by helping them to attain restoration and healing through pastoral care and counseling and a message of hope. Reverend Carmichael also serves as a staff hospice chaplain for Penn Medicine in Princeton. This husband, father, theologian, author, and entrepreneur sincerely believes that nothing is impossible with God. Reverend Carmichael, the bema is yours.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. I'm so grateful to be here tonight with all of you. Rabbi, I want you to know that in our faith tradition, we call people such as yourself prophets. A prophet is someone who will allow you to take steps towards the curtain and open and look in for yourself. So thank you for leading us tonight. Thank you for your leadership. I want to share with this beautiful congregation. We have such beautiful tradition. Please never forsake your tradition. There may be many things that you think the world is jealous of. But I can share with you one of the main things, the community. They are I want to thank my wife for being here with me tonight. My family, my mom is here, and my dad is here. And my Live Well Church family is here. God bless you all for being with us tonight. And those who are watching online, friends and family, thank you. Shabbat Shalom. I was hoping you would say that. I want to share scripture with you. Just a quick reading. I promise you, I won't be up here more than 10 or 12 minutes.
This is not the good microphone, so I'm going to give you the good microphone.
Oh, great.
So we can hear you better.
Thank you. Oh, is that good? All right. Let's try it again. Shabbat Shalom. There it is. Thank you. I want to share a reading with you. I'm going to use this just so I can see. Can I move this, Rabbi? This is from Exodus chapter 12, verse 31 and 42. I believe we have it up there for your reading, for you to view and read. During the night, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Up, leave my people, you and the Israelites, go worship the Lord as you have requested. Take your flocks and your herds, as you have said, and go, but also bless me." The Egyptians urged the people to hurry and leave the country, for otherwise, they said, we will all die. So the people took their dough before the yeast was added and carried it on their shoulders and kneading troughs wrapped in clothing. The Israelites did as Moses instructed and asked the Egyptians for articles of silver and gold and for clothing. The Lord has made the Egyptians favorably disposed towards the people, and they gave them what they asked for, so they plundered the Egyptians. And the Israelites journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth. there were about 600,000 men on foot, besides women and children. Many other people went up with them, and also large droves of livestock, both flocks and herds. With the dough the Israelites had brought from Egypt, they baked loaves of unleavened bread. The dough was without yeast because they had been driven out of Egypt and did not have time to prepare food for themselves. Now, the length of time the Israelite people lived in Egypt was 430 years. At the end of the 430 years, to the very day, all the Lord's divisions left Egypt, because the Lord kept vigil that night to bring them out of Egypt. On this night, all the Israelites are to keep vigil to honor the Lord for generations to come. I'm going to be speaking to you very briefly tonight from the subject, true liberation comes from the Lord. You know, I was speaking to my wife about Juneteenth, and we were going back and forth. And I'm going to allow you to come into our room, our house right in Monroe Township, and listen to some Black conversation. Okay, I'm going to bring you right on in. Okay? And so we were talking and we shared, we said, you know, it's Juneteenth. What are we going to do? And she said, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Juneteenth. That is the sentiment, I believe, for many African Americans. Because even though there is freedom and liberation, and we were freed from slavery, I still have to have the talk with my son about driving while Black. I live in Monroe Township. We've been living there for about 20 years. And even though we're free, I still have to make sure that when I go jogging in my neighborhood, I have to make sure I have my license on me in case I'm stopped and asked, what am I doing in this neighborhood that I've lived in? Trim my hedges, cut my grass. You know, there's some ambivalence and some mixed feelings when we talk about liberation and freedom. Yeah. I still have a fear sometimes when my sons or my children are going to the mall. I wonder if some bully who just happens to be white decides to fight them, or the police who we support and who we care about and whom we need. I wonder if our police officers, some arrogant police officer who decides to go rogue from all the good police officers that are out here, who decides to go rogue and picks up my son and puts handcuffs on him, and he was the one that was being bullied. I think of all these things when I think of Juneteenth, and I think about liberation and freedom. And I say, God, what should we do? How should we celebrate? I am so grateful and thankful for my ancestors that endured. My great-grandmother, my grandmother, my great-grandfather, my grandfather, and my great-great-uncle. I'm so happy and so thankful for what they endured and what they brought us through. But there are some mixed feelings when I think of Juneteenth. Yeah, there's some mixed feelings when I think of George Floyd. And on and on and on. Yeah. What should we do? I had to look into our sacred texts and go into the Old Testament, and I saw that there were some people who could relate to oppression and being enslaved. And I could imagine, just like those in 1865 who had been working and did not realize that they were free, that they were liberated, that they too had some mixed feelings. So I looked deep into the sacred text and I said, God, share with me, what is liberation? And the Lord spoke through the text and said, true liberation flows from love and not legislation. Oh, you see it in the text. Pharaoh shared with the children of Israel, you're free. Go. Get out of here and take all of your stuff. You're free. That's akin or analogous to legislation, but not love. Yeah. True liberation only flows from love. When people are set free because the heart is touched in a way and said, I must not enslave another human being. You read it in the text. The Egyptians urged the people to hurry and leave the country, not from love, but from legislation. Are we free and celebrating Juneteenth because of love or because of legislation? Oh my goodness. True liberation not only flows from love, but true liberation leads to financial freedom. It's in the text. You can see how during the night, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron, and all of the people, when they were called, they did exactly what Moses had told them to do. And I'm sure Rabbi can share this story in ways that I can't even imagine. But they did what Moses told them to do. And they said, give us the silver and the gold, because true liberation leads to financial freedom. Are we free today on this Juneteenth when many African Americans are experiencing a wealth gap that is disproportionate to American lives? True liberation leads to financial freedom. And as we listen to this and as we hear these facts, our hearts ache. And there's only one thing that can make me come and celebrate Juneteenth and to come to this temple and celebrate with all of you and to put out my red, black, and green flags and continue to make sure that our church service commemorates all of what happened on that day and celebrate June. There's only one thing that continues to let me go forward. The fact and the truth that the Lord is the God of liberty. See, true liberation comes from the Lord. Not from legislation, not from man, not from anything that a woman does, but true freedom is a state of mind, and true freedom comes from God, and it is God that bestows freedom upon us. It is God that calls you his people, and God says you are free and you are able to go forth. It was not the Egyptians, and it was not Abraham Lincoln, and it was not those in the South, and it was not the Confederate Army, and it was not the Union Army. It was God that gave African Americans freedom, and it is only God that can take that freedom away, and we must celebrate that freedom with all of our hearts, our minds, and our souls, because true liberation comes from the Lord. Yeah. Exodus 20:2 reminds us that I am the Lord your God, who has delivered you out of Egypt. I am the Lord your God, who has delivered you out of slavery. I, Reverend Carmichael, I Live Well Church, I, United States of America, I am the Lord your God, who has delivered you out of bondage. So what should we do? Come together and celebrate true liberation, because it is only true liberation, real freedom, that comes from God. You, my brothers and sisters, we are free. God bless you all.
We're going to turn to our next prayer, Aleinu Shabbat, which tells us that it's on us to praise God. But it goes on beyond that. We shouldn't just praise God. We should partner with God to make this world an even better place, an even freer place. And so I'm going to invite all those who are on the Racial Justice Task Force to please come up to help me open the ark. So all who've been involved in any capacity over the last 2 years, we'd love to have you come on up. And I'll ask everyone else who's able to please rise for Aleinu Shabbat, and let us praise God together. Thank you all, and please be seated as we turn to Mourner's Kaddish, our prayer of memory. And so on this Shabbat, remember several who were taken from us in recent days or at this time in years gone by. And if I call the name of your loved one, I invite you to please rise at your seats. One who died this week, Rosalie Krieger, friend of Ronnie and Drew Staffenberg, as well as Elaine Berkowitz, mother of Karen Berkowitz. Two whose loved ones are in the period of Shloshim, first 30 days of mourning. Michael Cutel, brother of Eric Cutel, and Phyllis Gould, aunt of Camille Bloomberg. And remember the following yard sites, the anniversary of the passing of these loved ones: Isidore Levine, James McClure, June Ahrens, Laura Josephson, Harry Baruch Albert, Murray Pelsiger, Floyd Rosenfeld, Annette Justine David, Harry Schechtel, Jerome Kropp, Pauline Orman, Seymour Siegel, Sarah Ben, Samuel Lazarowitz, Louis Siegel, Abe Polikoff, Minnie Stern, Howard Michelle, Bernard Newman, Sarah Lachine, Anna Fishbein, and all the people of color whose lives were taken because of fear, hatred, and violence. And we rise together as one community. David Winokur, that's on next week's list. So my apologies if we got the date wrong, but I promise he's on next week's list. And so we now rise as one community as we turn to the hallowed words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivarach yoteh v'yamith malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayeh v'chol beit Yisrael, v'ala u'izman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom Rabbah mevarach le'olam amen. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yita'ar v'yitnaman v'yitnaseh,
Vita dar, vita levi, talal, shumeur kurusha brehu. Leila, Beerko, Beerkata, Beshirata, Tushbekata, Nakamata. Damram, Beama, Bibru, Amen. Yehesh, Lama, Rabba, Mishamaya. Mekain, Melele, Beerko, Yisrael, Bimru, Amen. Ose Shalom, Noma. Uya, Ase Shalom.
Alleluia, Kol Yisrael, Bimru, Amen. Zichronam Livracha, may their memory always be a blessing. Please be seated as I invite Marshall Kisner to share a few announcements with us.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight for this Juneteenth Shabbat service. It is our goal to bring Juneteenth into everyday conversation and encourage people to celebrate this special day. Juneteenth, like Passover, is an important holiday marked by the story of people's hard-won freedom. And we Jews are similar with the significance of this story. Thank you to Rob Lehner, Ann Berman Waldorf, Adria Sherman, and Cheryl Wexler for your assistance as tech experts tonight. I, Marshall Kisner, represent the Board of Trustees, and I, along with Vivian Newmark, we ask you to join us in an oneg in the social hall following the service. And we're happy to speak to you over Anash. This weekend is another joyful weekend at Beth Chaim. Torah study will be tomorrow at 8:45 in person with bagels and on Zoom. Mazel tov to Lexi Mann as she becomes a B'nai Mitzvah. This service begins at 10:30 tomorrow. And Sunday is Father's Day. Wish all the fathers and father figures in our lives appreciation and celebration this weekend. Hineni, I'm here for you and you are here for me. Together we are Beth Chaim. We are an active, inclusive, and diverse congregation. Please check out our website, bethchaim.org, to see a listing of all our many classes, meetings, and activities throughout the week. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Another thank you to David Mallinger for making beautiful music for us tonight, and to everyone who helped make tonight's service seamless and smooth and beautiful. If you are 13 or younger and are not gluten-free and would like to come up for some challah, you are welcome to. So I forgive you if you want to just come and hang out, you can. But anyone who wants bread, like so that means you for sure. Do you want to come up, Spencer? I'm sorry, I don't have gluten-free challah. I'm a bad rabbit. 4 slices. He's coming for the moral support. Okay, it's okay. All right, come closer. I promise. I won't bite. You can bite the challah. Ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem mi'or. Return to your seats, and brought back by popular demand a classic piece of liturgy by a group that may look a little different than we're used to. Hold on, Ann, I haven't turned the sound on yet. But this is Joshua Nelson, an African-American Jewish man who makes incredible music with the kosher gospel singers. So one of our favorite closing songs to a different tune. Talk for a minute. Okay, great.
Wow, great. Perfect.
The first time I think I ever saw this musical group was at a Reform Movement biennial convention. And I was familiar with a different Jewish musical artist whose name is Josh Nelson. And he looks a lot more like I do. And he is what we might call a Jewish rock star. He is guitars and piano are his instruments. And he makes incredible music. But when I was first encountered Joshua Nelson, I was filled with spirit, and it was really an incredible concert. And I haven't heard him playing recently, but maybe we can make that, maybe we can change that. But luckily, he has, oh,
I just realized figuring out we had him in our temple.
you did?
Yes,
Very nice.
We
All
were
right,
very-
so he's been to New Jersey.
we were very surprised. We were like, wait a minute.
Right. All right, are we ready now for some kosher gospel music? All right. Sorry, I turned the box on.
Not turn the box on.
I thought I turned the box on. Did I turn the box off? Oh no, hold on. I know what we did here. No, I have a solution to this problem. All right, if you'll stop, Ann. No, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work? Do we know? No. One more thing. It can be done.
For me, I don't. But it's gonna turn your sound off. Try that. Wait, let's see what happens. I know the problem.
How many Jewish professionals does it take to play a music, to play a video on the internet?
Probably a lot.
Uh-huh.
Ready? No. Just kidding.
Joshua Nelson will come and play at
Yeah,
Congregation
that's
Beth.
definitely the same guy.
I think that it's only one of a kind.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, after our closing benediction, I'm going to invite Lexi Mann and her family and friends to remain in the sanctuary for a very special presentation. Everyone else is going to be welcome to go to our social hall for an oneg food and fellowship after our service. And I'll ask everyone who's able to please rise. If you feel comfortable or so moved to put your arm around your neighbor, feel free to do it as we bless each other. May God bless us and protect us. May God's light shine upon us and may God be gracious to us. May we always feel that God's presence is near, and may we be blessed with the greatest gift of all, the gift of peace. Amen.